Morning. It is 10:03 and we convene Dallas Parks and Recreation Board board meeting to order. Well, thanks again all for being here. Just a couple of opening notes. I know everyone is anxious and a lot happening at the fair park. I just wanted to assure you, I think the staff is working previously to give an update, and starting next meeting, I think I will leave fair park as an open point on the agenda every meeting till the time we get information. But in between today and next meeting, I think there'll be some more information coming as well. So just, I think there are some legalities we have to go through, but just wanted to let you know that there is nothing, board would not know, but very soon updates will be coming, and it will be part of every board meeting for a few meetings going forward. With that, I think that's the only discussion we'll have it for Fair Park today. We get to our next point. We will skip the special recognition for after public speakers, and Mr. Jenkins is running a few minutes late, so we'll wait for him to join. With that, we get to public speakers, Madam Secretary.
Today, I'll read the speaker guidelines. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to speak. Only any speaker who makes personal comments or board will be removed and immediately part of the meeting. The first speaker is Mr. Dean.
First and foremost, board, Mr. Florida, for giving me the opportunity today to speak about the concerns of something that's important to us, which is our city and the community. My name is Raphael Shamsuddin. He's in Highland Hills, a longtime resident. Additionally, I am the precinct chair for 3071. The role I have proudly held for several years. My commitment to our community extends to both our elders and residents and youth. I have been a steadfast supporter of the initiative to rename College Park from its inception, believing firmly in the positive impact it would have on our community and elders alike. This sentiment is shared by the over 1,000 people that have signed a petition to rename College Park in honor of Fahim J. Minkah. My connection with Mr. Minkah dates back to my childhood, specifically to my time as a third grader at A.L. Turner Elementary, where I witnessed his dedication and volunteered in various PTA and dance programs. I went to school with some of his children and later reconnected with him as an adult. Throughout his life, Mr. Minkah was a businessman and generously helped people with their vehicle issues. And he continued to mentor and advise me on making sound life decisions. Mr. Minkah's impact extended beyond personal mentorship. Many here can attest to over his 30 years of dedication to nurturing track and field talents in the Dallas area. He provided countless children with opportunities to rise above poverty and offered a father figure to those who needed one. When my own father passed, a Vietnam combat veteran in the Marine Corps, when he passed away in 2017, Mr. Minkah was there to offer emotional support. It's due to his over 50 years of unwavering dedication to Dallas and the Highland Hills community that I, along with many others, respectfully request that this board rename College Park to Fahim J. Minkah Community Park, and I thank you for considering this message. Thank you.
Mr. Poffrick.
Board, another Fahim J. Minkah supporter. As we have numerous Fahim J. Minkah supporters here today with us. In regards to the renaming of the park, which the community at large would like to see changed in honor of somebody that dedicated their life to making this world and community a better place. Many days and hours we traveled on the streets named after races, and some of them were stone cold murderers and killers and thugs. And we just drive by like it's nothing. Oh, there's RL North. This is Keys Park, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nobody brings it up, but I don't think anybody in here can tell me that they're inspired by these people. At least I hope. But there are a number of people in our community throughout Dallas who are inspired by Mr. Fahim J. Minkah, what he done, what he represented, and who he was. So I'm just gonna let our community say the rest. We've been here before, me and Mr. Shamsuddin and a couple of others, but we have elders in the community who knew Mr. Minkah as well and who've done a lot in their community as well. So I'm just gonna let them continue on with what they want to share with the board. But we understand that this is a necessity. It's due, it's been past due in December. We were told, hey, we're gonna have a chance to vote on this thing. We haven't heard anything. We don't like for things that we take in with honor and respect to be swept under the rug, since these other murderers and killers and racists didn't have their name and honor swept under the rug. So we would appreciate if the board would, meet with us later on and let's discuss how we can make this thing happen.
Thank you, sir. Speakers, Mr. Fullenwider.
Good morning, members of the Park Board. I'm John Fullenwider, 1851 Bluebirds. I'm here today to support changing the name of College Park to Fahim J. Minkah. I met Fahim Minkah in the 1970s. He was the chair of the Black Panther Party at that time in Dallas, 1973 to 1978. During that time, the group sponsored free legal rights clinics, free breakfast for children, and tenant rights organizing area apartment complexes, leading to free business controls. Fahim did path-breaking work on the issue of citizen review of police misconduct. He was, to my knowledge, the first person to propose such a review in the 1970s. The issues he worked on, like police review, remain controversial today, but there's no denying that Mr. Minkah provided prophetic leadership on the role of community oversight. Half a century later, the city of Dallas does have a community police oversight established by the city council in 2019 with widespread community support. Fahim remained active in community service long after the Dallas chapter of the Panther Party closed. In the 1980s, he showed a more innovative approach to fighting drug crime than the official war on drugs. He established African American Men Against Narcotics in 1988. AMEN shined a spotlight on drug houses and dealers in the community. Street marches with hundreds of people chanting, "Better run, drug dealers, better run," were followed with direct confrontations. None of this was undercover. The point was to call out dealers openly. As Minkah explained at the time, what we're doing, no one else has dared to do. We're challenging the pushers and the drug houses directly. This initiative took a lot of bravery and showed a lot of promise, but the drug war at all levels wasn't supportive of this kind of community-based effort, which would call out police corruption as surely as it would call out anyone selling drugs in the community. One can't help but wonder what the result would have been if AMEN had been given even a small fraction of the millions wasted in the official war on drugs. Today, the wisdom of community-based and treatment-centered approaches has much more support. Much of Fahim's life in Dallas lived near the park, but should bear his name. His auto shop was nearby, for instance. I want to urge the park board to honor this courageous, visionary, dedicated community servant and leader, Fahim Minkah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker is Mr. Michael King. Don't believe he's here. We'll go to the next one. Mr. Devontae Peters.
We can't hear you.
Devontae Peters, I'm so sorry about that.
Hello, good morning. My name is Devontae Peters. I happen to be a store owner. I own a health store in Oak Cliff called the Alkaline Hour. We've been over there about 4 years. I'm also a previous candidate for city council. I ran about 3 times. Fortunately, I haven't won yet. I'm gonna continue to, serve my community in that way, in a much similar way that y'all are doing today. I just want to speak from the perspective of, somebody being in this community, somebody who lives here, who's from this area, and how much it means to me to see a street or a park named after somebody who actually dedicated their lives to the community, and still having palpable or physical structures that we can still benefit from today, such as a skate land park, this roller rink right in this area. Just to see, these street names and these parks and these stores and these businesses and these institutions reflect people that do not have our best interests at hand or our ancestors' best interests. It's just a conflict, and it just makes us, just not feel included, in the space that we live in, so having a park named after somebody who is respectful, and then when our kids look up and try to look up these names or these monuments, they could actually feel connected to this person's history, somebody that actually looks like them, somebody who's lived the same conditions that they lived in, and not just somebody who, was appointed with no real connection to the community, and just to ask yourself, like, how would that affect you if you see one of your leaders, somebody you looked up to, monumented and respected and regarded in your neighborhood, where you can go past them right there every day. You can tell your children about them, their friends about them. We don't really have that connection here. We have to accept the fact that we have, murderers, people who are, benefited or initiated genocide on thousands and countless of people, such as Lamar, that was actually changed by some of these people in here. But we have these streets, it goes on and on and on, parks and monuments, and all we're simply saying is like, hey man, this person has had an effect on a lot of people multi-generationally, and we don't have a lot of those figures in our community that we can uphold. You have an example of somebody who affected the life of a lot of people, and I would just like y'all to be on the right side of history, do something different, step out on the norm. And I know there's many questions about his past, but we honor people such as Sam Bass in this state, Bonnie and Clyde, people who have extracurricular, more colorful backgrounds, such as, Fahim. But at the end of the day, this is somebody who was doing something for a purpose. And if we had an example of this person or somebody like that in our current lifetime, we would really be looking up to this person and supporting them. You dig? And I would like y'all to be on that, on that wave. Thank y'all for listening to me.
Thank you, sir.
Next speaker is Mr. Fulto.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I'll speak louder.
Good afternoon. My name is Fahim J. Fahim, Minkah, and myself founded the Dallas chapter of the Black Panther Party. And the reason I'm here today is because there have been allegations that Fahim was a criminal. Fahim was a student at the University of Texas at Arlington when he became radical. He was one of the people who fought to change the name, the mascot's name from rebels to Mavericks, because that was an insult to us. I think it's Haggai 2:9 that said, if you've seen this temple, I'm paraphrasing, if you've seen this temple when it was in its glory, the latter is going to be greater than the former. Now we can go back and talk about things that Fahim did, but when Fahim did those things, he was still working in the interest of the people. He was a member of an organization that was trying to bring change into our communities, and he worked to do that. Fahim, the last time I saw Fahim down here was in the Horseshoe, and he was speaking about how that the pawn shops were supporting the drug dealers by buying the products that the drug addicts were stealing from the people in the community. At that time, Fahim was actually patrolling the Spencer Village apartments where the police either wouldn't or couldn't go. And people have talked about that. I think my brother John Fullenweiler talked about that. they don't talk about the fact that the people that Fahim was going up against was called shower posse. And the shower posse would release a shower of bullets on people when they came up against them. But Fahim, Charles Beasley, Charlie Paul, they ran them out. They ran them out. So isn't that better than the history that people are talking about that he has? The reality is that Fahim Minkah was a contributor to the community. He wasn't a rhetorician. We were talking this morning about how he would talk so dry and flat. You say, get excited, Fahim. But the fact of the matter, it wasn't about how he said it or what he said or what he did. He continued to work in the community until the day he died. I was watching Reverend William Barber on C-SPAN last night, and he quoted a woman who said that this isn't radical. This isn't radical naming College Park after Fahim Minkah. This is just right.
That's your 3 minutes.
This is just right. And I'm going to say this before I sit down again. This is not radical. This is just right. Thank you.
Your next speaker is Mr. Joe Tate.
Good morning, Park Board and Park staff. My name is Phil Tate. I live in District 3, 3330. First, before show you how to court. Excuse me, something. Take the time. Trying to concentrate on it.
Let's go.
Okay, I live at 3330 Shady Hollow Court in District 3. I'm honored to stand here to speak in behalf of you all reconsidering or considering naming the park. Fred Bell, that's our reference. I've known Fred Bell from the mid-1960s, before some of these young folks were even born. I was a student at East Texas State University, and then Bell was a student at the University of Texas at Arlington. I want to appeal to your conscience. Pull up the history of the University of Texas at Arlington, but it was Arlington State Teachers College, Arlington State College, and then Arlington State University. And the mascot was the Rebels, or Robert E. Lee Rebels. So the changes that came about in terms of mathematics that was previously stated was a result of Brother Bell's action. I made up because like at East Texas State in Commerce, I was in pre-law. Well, so after King got killed, I got drafted and organized the Black student movement there that brought about all kinds of changes at the university that many are joining now. And so Brother Bell came over to support me, and I would come over to Arlington. Exactly. So we have situations where people have done things that we better not be pleased with as far as who and what they are or how they went about doing things. Whether it's Al Lipscomb or Williams, you all wouldn't be sitting here as 15 representatives if it were not for the sacrifices and the dedication of people like Roy Williams who filed the 14 and 1. You wouldn't be here. So it took somebody's action, somebody's sacrifice. So Brother Bell sacrificed a great deal for you to be here representing, and I think you all have done a good job, as I have observed over the 33 years that I have lived in Dallas. But would you please reconsider and consider and look beyond who or what you may know about him having been a Black Panther. I didn't know him as a Black Panther. I knew him as a student and one who was concerned and committed to community efforts in Dallas and Arlington and elsewhere. So the other thing I wanted to share is that Dr. John Carlos, a lot of people hated him when he did the protest in Mexico City in 1968. Now he's rich. People all around the world the Olympic Committee told them to get out of Mexico City because of the protest that they did. But the world is better off. The world is better off for those of us who sacrificed, and we did get rich doing it. So would you please look beyond the term Black Panther, because like there's some folks that were involved in being Klansmen in Dallas, Texas. Okay, and so people have looked beyond that. And then Dallas is a better city, and there's a need for greater improvement. But anyway, so thank you for the time, and thank you for your efforts to make the community better. And one way you can do so is considering to name this park in in honor of Fahim, Minkah, or Fred Bell, as I do him. God bless you. Thank you.
Conclude your speakers.
May I have a question, Mr. President?
Who wanted to make a statement and then. Hello.
Go ahead.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Glad to show our board members. Thank you, speakers, for coming out. I'd like to make a statement. I support this wholeheartedly. I knew him as Fred Bell. I knew him as Mr. Minkah, we used to say. I grew up in Buntown and we moved to Highland Hills. So everything that every one of these speakers have said, I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it firsthand. This is something I think that we need to do. And I'd like to thank you once again, each and every one of you, for coming out. And I'm not talking out of the side of my mouth. I'm not saying something when you're not around. I support this. And we need to get at the table and arm wrestle with each other and our policies so that we can make this happen. So bless you and thank you, each and every one of you, for being here. Thank you, Mr. President.
Just entertain one question, Mr. Dickey, so it doesn't become.
I have a question for staff. I have a question for staff. I support this strongly as well. Very familiar with Fahim Minkah and his contributions to events and things in Dallas. But I'd like to ask staff, given we've recently modified our park naming policy, and it can be difficult to navigate. And I see this group has already got 1,000 signatures, but I'd like to ask if staff is able to work with them to help navigate our naming policy, because it can be difficult.
So rather than getting staff answer this, I will ask for a briefing soon so that everyone can understand. That way this today doesn't become, because once they say something, everyone will have questions and all, not being on agenda. Good request, I'll make that happen.
Thank you, Mr. President.
With that, I think let's move to approval of meetings of June 6th. Do I have a motion? Mr. Slaughter, do I have a second? Ms. Mondal, any questions? With that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
That's passed. We will go ahead with our special recognition of Mr. Mark Lemkin. Mr. Jenkins is still running late and he is conducting business, so he's not late, but really there's something important he is conducting. If he's here, I think we can request him to come. We'll just hold for a minute while Mr. Jenkins. He's not here. So, proceeding.